I know there's been a lot of rumors and misconceptions spreading around about the whole Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin ordeal, and many of them were created by the media. But hopefully this video will provide you with footage you haven't heard about or seen, and possibly clear up the notion that Trayvon was killed in cold blood in a hate crime. Because of the media bias, which we'll discuss later, and not helped by the comments made by President Barack Obama, there's been numerous hate crimes committed against whites across the country by blacks in the past months, supposedly in retribution to give justice for Trayvon. This absurdity is furthered by the fact that Zimmerman is Hispanic American. Firstly, some people claim that Zimmerman was not arrested. While he wasn't arrested after the shooting per se, Zimmerman was detained and taken to the police station for questioning and given a voice stress test, which is somewhat similar to a polygraph test. A similar claim revolving around the same clip I'm about to show is that Zimmerman wasn't even injured from Trayvon. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the first clip.
We were the first to show you this surveillance video of George Zimmerman arriving at police headquarters the night of the shooting, seemingly uninjured despite claiming that he'd been in a life-or-death struggle.
This video, enhanced exclusively for ABC News, shows even more clearly the first moments after George Zimmerman arrived at the Sanford Police Department just after shooting Trayvon Martin. The entire raw video, obtained by ABC News and clarified by Forensic Protection Inc., sharpens the video from this to this. The sharper video now appearing to show some form of mark or gash on the back of Zimmerman's head. A police report from that night describes blood on the back of his head and his nose.
More recently, this photo taken shortly after the incident shows Zimmerman with blood running down the back of his head. This took place at night in a gated community. Their stated policy at the two entrances of their community informs of their neighborhood watch program and the reporting of suspicious persons to the police as shown above. The 911 calls from others confirmed the confrontation took place on a sidewalk behind houses, as well as an eyewitness report that Trayvon was on top of Zimmerman beating him. These reports correspond with Zimmerman's 911 call in which he says he's going to head back to his SUV after he lost track of Trayvon. After the shooting, Zimmerman claimed that Trayvon came out of nowhere and asked him if he had a problem, in which he replied no. Then Trayvon punched him in the face, supposedly breaking his nose, as well as bashing his head on the sidewalk when he was on the ground.
Sanford police still trying to figure out exactly what happened in this spot here last night. We talked to a man who didn't want to be shown on camera, who witnessed part of the attack right here, then went upstairs to his window and witnessed the rest of it after he called 911. What are you thinking now about all this?
This afternoon, I talked to John through his front door about what he saw last night during a fight that turned into a deadly shooting.
The guy on the bottom, who I believe had a red sweater on, was yelling to me, "Help, help." I told him to stop, and I was calling 911.
John locked his patio door, ran upstairs, and heard at least one gunshot.
And then when I got upstairs and looked down, the person that was on top beating up the other guy was the one laying in the grass, and I believe he was dead at that point.
And reported by others.
I don't know, I looked out my window and there's a guy on top with a white t-shirt.
Trayvon's parents and everyone else repeatedly stressed about how innocent he was. He was caught with 12 pieces of women's jewelry and a screwdriver at school. He was often suspended from the said school and possibly involved in other nefarious activities. I'm not suggesting he deserved to get shot because of any of this, but he isn't as innocent as everyone is making him out to be. While his Facebook and Twitter were shut down, these screenshots serve as evidence as some of his other nefarious activities. We've all heard about how he was carrying a bag of Skittles the night that he was shot. A group known as the Capitalist Army noted that Skittles bags are sometimes used by drug dealers or users to carry pills. In addition, they found this interesting tweet from Trayvon's cousin, Mr. Monopolsky, stating that he, the cousin, knew Trayvon beat Zimmerman's ass, which was tweeted before the 911 tapes were released. The media manipulation has been pretty disgusting. In the following NBC clip, they edited the 911 call to suggest that Zimmerman voluntarily tells the dispatcher Trayvon's black. The spliced version is first, followed by the original.
This guy looks like he's up to no good. He looks black.
Did you see what he was wearing?
Yeah, a dark hoodie.
And now the original version.
This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining and he's just walking around looking about.
Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He looks black.
The pictures on the left-hand side are the ones shown by the media. The top left one emerged as the most popular at a later date after the shooting, but the pictures of Trayvon as a 13 or 14-year-old were shown for the first weeks after the shooting. By this time, people already had the idea that Zimmerman shot an innocent 14-year-old, subconsciously burnt into their head, and was already sensationalized. The top left image, the most popular, is an edited version of the top right version, which appears to be softened, presumably by the media. Then here's what Obama said about the whole thing after it happened.
But my main message is to the parents of Trayvon Martin. You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
So much for the president staying neutral in these matters. All the violence and insanity across the country is thanks to the media, Al Sharpton, and Jesse Jackson, and they should all be ashamed. Anyway, that's what I know about the case. I believe with the information I have, Trayvon did assault Zimmerman, and that's the reason why he shot him. Obviously, the police probably have unreleased information, but I'm guessing it's not strongly opposed to Zimmerman due to them not initially arresting him, as well as releasing him on a $150,000 bond. The main reason why he was arrested, though, was because of the flash mobs harping on authorities, for lack of a better term. Anyway, thanks for watching.